Hello, welcome back. I hope you're well today. Got something really cool. It's something I didn't expect to ever get, honestly, to show you today. So in 1974, the company Mego got the license for Star Trek and started manufacturing a line of toys. Now, obviously, we've got something big right in front of us. We're going to get to that here in just a minute. They made these 8-inch action figures. Here we've got Captain Kirk, we got Mr. Spock, we got Dr. McCoy, we have Chief Engineer Scotty, gonna lean him kind of over there, and Lieutenant Okura. They made quite a few. This was the only Starfleet officers made. In fact, Uhura wasn't even part of the first wave. She was sort of a wave 1.5 kind of thing. Originally, it was just these four guys and this Klingon bad guy who was part of wave 1. And then they added Uhura a little later on. Eventually they did come out with a few waves later on that had some other aliens, including a Gorn, which was literally nothing but this outfit repackaged so that the hands were brown and the head was actually the head off of a lizard man from the Spider-Man comics. These are all original. The only thing that on the screen right now that is not original is actually these pants on Kirk. The previous owner lost his original pants, and I had to order him some replacement pants from someone on Etsy. But other than that, everything is all original. As you can see, a few people are missing some pieces. Most of them came with a belt, with a phaser, and a how these were not lost more often communicator, which was freaking tiny. I understand why Playmates later on made the communicators that were open, but this, if I can get it out, there we go, is the phaser, which of course my issue being is that they really couldn't hold them very well. It doesn't really fit the hand at all. But at least it looked cool on the belt, and it had a little locking mechanism to help keep it on the belt. Spock, as you see there, comes with his tricorder, which the detailing on it is rather decent. And you might notice the other thing is that Spock and Kirk are also both missing their little logo on their chest. And that's because, well, here, I'll show you. I'll pull Scotty out again. This was barely attached on here. You can see on his where it's already starting to peel off. They were not attached very well, so it's very common for them to have fallen off, especially if they got played with a lot. All of the Starfleet officers, as you can see, their phasers and communicators and tricorders were all done in blue. And all the aliens, which as you see, our Klingon has lost his communicator, but his phaser is done in red. And that was common for the aliens, was that they would be done in red. What was interesting was that this was the first line that Migo did where the boots were actually sculpted on as part of the leg for the Starfleet officers. Well, minus Uhura, who had separate Barbie-style boots. But the Klingon, he also had the separate boots, which is kind of difficult to get off. I'm always a little nervous pulling his boots. Yeah, there we go. And you see the feet actually do have they're very, these joints are all very stiff because they're, getting close to 50 years old. But if you're wondering why these costumes and all look a little off, like the colors of the uniforms are very, very bright, and the Klingon is wearing sort of a brown and purple scheme instead of the gold and silver like they had on the show, it's because these were actually based a little more off of the cartoon show, which came out around the same time. The animated Star Trek, the animated series. And that continued, set these to the side, with this. This was the bridge set that you could get. I'm going to open it wide up here. Got some dust bunnies. And get everything pulled out. This is really hard to get to stay down sometimes. As you can see, it's got the big Star Trek USS Enterprise logo right here. On the left, this is the transporter room, which it doesn't work so well now because it doesn't spin as gracefully. I don't know that I want to take it apart and clean it, but I may have to if I want to get it back to operating properly. But the idea being that you put the figure in there and you give it a spin, and when you stop it, it's supposed to be that you press this button on top, the red or the green, and then there's a dot on the bottom, red and green. If you want it to stop with the green facing forward, you press the green button and it's supposed to stop that way. If you want to stop with the red, then you do that, and it stops with the red in the front. But the mechanism doesn't work all that great now. Let's get Captain Kirk. Come on, Jim. So, as you see, it's a very colorful set. Sort of the full round bridge kind of thing going on. We've got the captain's chair here. This is supposed to be the captain's coffee table. No, it's actually supposed to be, there's two stools. I am actually missing the bottom part of one of the stools. Not too surprising. But it's supposed to be stools for your characters to sit on at the helm and navigation station here, which is interesting to say the least. And then one thing that was really cool is it actually came with 3 cards, kind of like this, that were all double-sided, that you could mount. Let me get up in here. Right there as the view screen. I'm just going to throw Kirk right out of his chair. And you can take it off, flip it around. This is a very odd angle to be at. There we go. And they have another view screen. I only have the 1 card left currently. The others have been lost. But as you can see, this one has got sort of a ship exploding on one side, and we've got some science officers reporting from a planet on the other side. If I can get that to hold there. So we'll get Captain Kirk set up in his chair, and Scotty's gonna be, well, Scotty's about the only person around. He doesn't want to bend his legs up too well. We'll put him at the helm console. Well, Scotty's drunk. Scotty, sober up, man. I think part of the issue is that these are almost 50 years old, and the springs that hold them together are getting to be a little temperamental. Here we go. Spock's gonna be our helmsman. We'll put him over there. And Okura, she's just gonna have to stand there. And of course, McCoy, he likes to stand. Well, McCoy's been drinking too. There we go. So, overall, this was actually a pretty cool set. The head sculpts is the last thing to really discuss. They definitely convey the characters that they are supposed to be, but they are also very lacking in appropriate detail. I would say the Spock one is probably the best, looking the most like Leonard Nimoy. Again, it is supposed to be sort of based on the animated show, and once you realize that, it makes a little more sense. But, I mean, come on, that's barely DeForest Kelley. Barely. There are modern Mego figures, of course, which we discussed, the Locutus and Q one a while back, and I've got some more I'll be showing you in the future. But there's a few interesting ways to tell if they are the original ones or the modern ones. First one is you can immediately see the wrist has these little metal pieces that hold together on all the Mel characters. It's a similar kind of thing on the elbow joints. And same on the legs. But the biggest, easiest clue is undo the snap on the back, and you will see the information is on the character's back, and the year, the copyright date is actually right here on the back of his neck. You'll see, it's going to be hard to see on the camera, but it does say 1974 on there. Modern Mego figures have them printed. So, that's how you can tell a little bit of the difference, and that is the Migo USS Enterprise Bridge playset and the Wave 1 of figures: Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Okura, Scotty, and the Klingon bad guy. I hope you enjoyed getting to check this out, and I will talk to you next time.